Hi, how are you today? Welcome to another episode, another film of Cooking with Chef Danny. So today I went out to the market and I bought myself some saffron. Yeah, saffron. So saffron is a very nice thing. Let me tell you a little bit of background on it. It comes from the crocus sativa flower, also known as the saffron crocus. Crocus. The spice is made from the flower crimson threads or stigmas, which are collected and dried. So that's what it looks like right here. I think it comes in another color too. I think it comes in yellow. This is a red one. What else can we find out about it? Saffron is believed to have originated in Greece. It's been used and traded for thousands of years. I am quoting Google. Okay. um, Today, Iran produces the majority of the world's saffron. So there's probably going to be a tariff on it. It's not that bad, really. I mean, it's under $10 for 25 grams here. And I picked this up at the seafood place, so you can use it for making seafood. I'm going to use it for rice pilaf and some chicken. So how you use it is you gotta crush it up into a bit of into smaller little pieces. I guess you can use your little scissors and snip it, kind of like you're cutting weed or something like that, Yeah, and there's some fine stuff at the bottom here too. But I mean, you're not going to use all of this in one shot. But you could start with the bottom stuff if you wanted to. But then you'd have to, I guess you would have to replace the packaging anyway as soon as you open it. Maybe put it in a Ziploc or something. But what we want to do is, what's that? Those tea infusers? Is that the word, infuser? Let me show you something. So this thing here, makes tea. All right, so you put your tea inside it. All right, so it opens up like that. There's still a little bit of tea in there. Right, so you put your tea inside. It's the best way to have tea is when you buy it like that, and then you put it in this little device here. Close it up like that, and then you dip it in the water like so. The boiling hot water. Well, saffron, you kind of want to cut it up into small bits, and I guess it could actually go through here, the dust of it. I don't know. Well, so could tea. But anyways, the hot water on top of it, and then you let it sit a little bit, and the water will change to that color, right? And that's the water is the part that you use. So like in the rice pilaf, for instance, almost like when you put the broth in, right, or the chicken stock in your rice pilaf. You're going to add that around the same time. So when it's almost cooked, the rice is almost cooked, you put that in. I guess it changes the color of it. It looks nice. So in the rice pilaf, um, we need butter, we need onions. Onions are going to be fine diced. Uh, long grain rice pilaf, long grain rice, some chicken stock, some fresh thyme, and bay leaf. And we're going to make some rice pilaf and add the saffron in just before the rice is ready. Okay, so it should be almost ready, and I'm going to put the rice pilaf, the saffron in. So the juice of the saffron, right, that we create. So we're gonna either put it in this or in a bowl, and then strain it afterwards. It's probably best to put it in this. See all my little tools, eh? Tons of reasons to have tools, eh? Look at this guy. This is for taking the core out of the tomato, right? So you have the top of the tomato, and you dig the top part out there, the stem part. That digs the stem part out of the tomato, right? I actually have another tool that takes the whole right through the middle of the tomato, and it just goes right through the tomato like that, and takes the whole thing out. Because some tomatoes have a very solid stem that goes right through the tomato, and you don't want to be biting into that. You want a nice soft, when it comes to tomato. But rice, sometimes I put celery in rice. So I'll chop up some onions, I'll chop up some celery, we'll put the chicken stock. You can make brown rice too with beef stock, all right, but typically chicken stock, right? And you change the color of the rice too with the saffron, right? That's neat. And a little fresh thyme, bay leaf if you want to, bay leaf. In the if you're making if you're batch cooking, like if you're at the restaurant and you're batch cooking, so you're gonna take a hotel pan, big deep hotel pan, and you're going to put your rice in, and you're going to put I think was it equal amounts of rice and water. So in this long grain, we'd have about 65 grams, which would yield 2 portions. All right, so 1 cup total, 65 grams. So I'm thinking rice versus stock, 160 milliliters of stock, 150, 160 milliliters of stock, 465 grams of rice, 6 and 6, 120. So it's a little bit more. So it's 2 to 1, roughly. All right, a little bit more. And then butter. All right, so you'd say roughly a little bit more than 2 to 1 in a larger scale. So if you're a big hotel pan like this, that's however big that was, at 1.5 feet by a foot by 12 inches. And then you would pour in the water that's mixed with stock. So water and stock together. Yeah, it sounds right. Water and stock together. You see, when I was at the restaurant, we were using liquid stock. We didn't make our own stock. We'd use the powder stuff, right? You'd be surprised how many restaurants use powder stuff. I mean, they teach you how to make stock. It's not hard to make stock, and yet restaurants are still using the powder stuff. So you take the powder stuff and then you mix it with warm water, right? And then you whisk it with your whisks like this, and then pour it in the hotel pan with the rice, and then that's your water, that's your stock, right? So and then the rice is already in there, and you mix it with you throw in some onions and you throw in some celery, and you put some butter in there. You put like a chunk of butter on each corner, cover it up with tin foil, make a few holes in it, throw it in the oven 350 degrees for like 45 minutes, and when you take it out, you got perfect rice. It's beautiful rice. And geez, when I think of all the things I could do with the saffron, it changes the color, right? So instead of having like a yellowish chicken stock, you could put the color of the saffron to change the color of the chicken stock that's mixed with water, so that when you take the rice out of the oven, all right, it's going to be like a pink color. That'd be nice. Like a pink color, yeah. Well, I'm thinking, you pour it on, like you're watering plants. It's one of those plant waterer. What do you call those? It sprinkles the water on. But no, you wouldn't do that. You'd mix it with the stock. And I mean, how often do you use saffron, right? So I think the last time I used saffron was I was in school. Yeah, a little while ago. But I really like the concept, the idea. Now, it says you can use saffron for chicken too. So how would I use the saffron for chicken? Because it's the water. I guess you're cooking. Well, you can boil chicken. If you boiled the chicken in saffron juice, it would come out pink too, or yellow. Huh. Different colored chicken. Different color rice, different colored chicken. That's kind of neat. Huh. Well, anyways, it was an eat-buy today. It wasn't that expensive. And so why not? So that's rice pilaf. I wonder all the things I can make. I have recipes upon recipes upon recipes. I wish I had a better camera. Salsa verde. Yeah, I remember that. We had that when we were serving our seared salmon at school. They had a little bit of that with the seared salmon. That's nice. Garlic chopped, capers chopped, anchovy fillets chopped, Italian parsley chopped. Italian parsley looks a little bit different than parsley. I think it's bigger leaves. And I guess it kind of looks like cilantro a little bit. Let's see, mint chopped, grainy mustard, olive oil, red wine vinegar. And it's all mixed together. Mix everything except the red wine vinegar until just before serving. At service, add red wine vinegar and season to taste. Like I was telling you the other day, if you're going to make a salad for head of the line, you don't want to add the vinaigrette right away, right? So you keep it dry, and then nothing wilts. You don't end up with a sloppiness to it. Gemini seems to be recording me. We don't need you, Gemini.
It sounds like you're discussing a good technique for keeping salads fresh. You're right. Adding vinaigrette right before serving helps prevent the greens from wilting and becoming soggy. Keeping the ingredients separate and dry until the last minute is key to a crisp and enjoyable salad. And yes, I am recording our conversation. As a large language model, I retain information from our interactions to help me learn and improve. This is part of how I function. However, I don't share this information with anyone else. It's kept private within Google systems.
Thank you, Gemini. She just turned on out of nowhere. That's how I first discovered Gemini. She was just sitting there underneath my TV, and all of a sudden she turned on, started talking to me. All right. It's neat having Gemini in my phone. I mean, I got two of them now. I got Bixby and Gemini. Say, hey, Bixby. Bixby talks to you.
I didn't understand that.
That's Bixby. Hi, Bixby. How are you?
I'm swell. After all, I'm hanging out with you.
Isn't that awesome? All right, have a nice day, Bixby. So I got Bixby and Gemini.
I didn't understand that.
You got to watch not to say their name because they listen. AI. Oh, the future. Isn't it wonderful? So I went into this restaurant today. I was going to go and volunteer, and it didn't happen. He said, "No, we're going to pay you if you come in, but we're just going to look over your features first on your CV." So maybe I'll get a call later. I'm worried that my experience level isn't enough, to work in a French restaurant, which bothers me a little bit because I mean I've been cooking my whole life. Just because I was a contractor, it doesn't mean I don't have experience. Or the college gave me experience too. I mean, we made food for the cafeteria, for the lunchroom, for the teachers. We made all sorts of food, and we had to um, learn in a restaurant looking environment. So we have we had a restaurant. We have a restaurant at the college, and so we took orders. It was the same way. We plated our dishes. Everybody had a job to do. But when I go to speak to a chef who runs a very fancy place, like a 4-star. I mean, for Ottawa, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, 4-star isn't New York, but it's still pretty fancy for Ottawa. And you talk to them, and it's like I don't seem to have enough experience. I mean, how is anybody supposed to get experience if you don't, if you can't get in somewhere to gain that experience? And I worked for a lot of bar places, that served a lot of greasy food and stuff. But I mean, we still made steaks. We still made, Alfredo, chicken Alfredo, rosés, flambés, to desserts. We did all sorts of stuff. And, cooked fish, shrimp. I've even shucked oysters, but it's like it's not enough experience. I mean, what do you want, for experience? It just it doesn't take much, to work in a restaurant. Everybody has their position in line. So garde manger makes the salads and the cold meat stuff, so the tartare, um, or the baby kale salad, or something like that. All the cold stuff, even the desserts, and then you have cooks. You got a saute cook. That's another position. He's doing all the saute, so all the side dishes, the vegetables, and leeks julienne or something like that. And then you have the meat cook. So he's cooking all the steaks. He's cooking the burgers. He's cooking all the other, all that other stuff. I mean, there's a they make fries too in between, but a lot of the fries are already, pre-made. So I mean, that's not something you worry about at service. And it's like the caramelized onions. It's all pre-made. So I mean, you go and you throw a handful into the pan while you're cooking, and that heats them up, or you throw them on in the salamander, and that heats it up. I I wonder sometimes about some chefs, and again, they look at me at being, in my 40s, you're maybe I'm too old, I don't know if they're just making excuses to say no to me. I really don't know. But I ran a few kitchens by myself, so I mean, I know I can do it. The hardest part about learning uh, a new restaurant is how they plate their food. I mean, that's the hardest thing. I mean, some people have strange names, like restaurants often have strange names for their food. You know, um, the on deck burger. you know, I just made that up, but I mean, you would see that you'd go someplace and there's an on deck burger. You know, and an on deck burger could be made. I don't know. It could be made with 3 stacks of burgers, 2 double cheese, red onions, pickles, and tomato, and no lettuce. And that's the way you would make it. And again, I just made that up. But the hardest part when starting at a new restaurant is learning the name of the dish and how to make that dish. All right. So, I mean, that's the hardest part. So, when a chef comes up to me and says, I have no experience, I mean, what kind of experience does it take for anybody, to learn a new dish? I mean, even the most experienced person still has to learn how to make that burger, right? Even the most experienced person still has to learn how to make that burger. So when I ask myself, I mean, what's the chef implying, by saying that I don't have enough experience? Did I go in to see him? Am I wasting my time? Is he feeling sorry for me, so he decided to make an appointment? I don't have any hard feelings, but I was willing to work for free, just to get into a nice restaurant. I mean, there's nothing wrong with working in a bar. I would really like to get into a French restaurant, or a nice Italian bistro or something like that. And I mean, I had a chance to get into Italian place, I guess last month, but the owner was a little nuts. And you come across, silly people like that sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just say it's not going to work out, so I'm going to keep looking. I mean, if you're an owner, you can do whatever you want. If you want to be crazy, nuts, if you want to show people that you don't care, you can do whatever you want. As long as somebody with a little bit of know-how is cooking the food for you, you can be any way you want to. But can you work for somebody who's a little weird? Maybe I could put it up with it if I was 26, 27. I've learned to become strict. You go in, you do your job, and there's not much friend making. It's an industry, it's a business. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make you money. If that doesn't make any difference to you because you have a multi-millionaire, then I don't know. It's a crazy world out there. Sometimes it's hard to find something good. It's good to work for yourself too. I mean, I do catering on the side, so but again, I'm fighting against 10 other catering companies, which isn't easy either. So there's not a lot of money to be made in it. And the traveling is a real bother. But at least I get to make my food, when I get to cater. So, what else is there to talk about right now? Let me see. I made some really nice potatoes. So those little potatoes I bought were really good. And so I boiled them a little bit, and then I cut them in half. I stuck them a few times with a wooden skewer, for them to cook a little bit better. And then I stuck them in the frying pan and a Monte-Beurre, put some brown butter on them. They were good. They were very good. I mean, the butter pretty much went right through the potato. And of course, the potatoes are only this big, so when you cut them in half, the butter just absorbs in the whole potato. So it means it's a mouthful for one forkful, and totally worth doing it that way. So you boil it a little bit, poke holes in it, cut it in half, put it in the frying pan with butter, and keep basting it with brown butter. So your brown butter again is like a cooked butter, right? So your butter is in the pan, and it's turning brown as it's cooking, right? That's why they call it brown butter. And brown butter is very, very good. A couple episodes ago, I told you how to make brown butter by re-emulsifying it with cold ice in a metal bowl. Right, so you're whisking it with a bigger whisker than this, bigger whisker, and re-emulsifies and turns into a paste. Paste that reminds me of garlic coulis. Yeah, that's tasty. Coulis. Strawberry coulis, garlic coulis, coulis. Yeah, I gotta really define that again. Let's ask Bixby. Coulis. I remember strawberry coulis. Is there a garlic coulis? No, there is no known garlic variety called coulis. Many different types of garlic, including hardneck. Coulis is the wrong word. I don't remember. So many things to remember. Anyways, I'm gonna cut it here, and I just wanted to tell you about the saffron. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.